Let's see. Let's see here. It says we're live. Oh, wait. Okay. Alright, there we go. We are rolling now, guys. Sorry for the delay. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast. This is show number 309. I am Invader, and I am looking forward to talking about all things Xbox related and more from around the game sphere. You know how it goes by now, guys. For this one, we plan to discuss a few things, including like some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as I know, well, originally some people on the panel were going to talk about it, but we're a little short-handed tonight. And who knows, maybe some Harold Halibut. I've been playing it, and I know that, you know, it's the new Xbox Game Pass release on there, and some people have been really talking about it. So we might dive into that. As well, Xbox games are seemingly dominating the PlayStation store. And Sea of Thieves getting some impressive new Milestone news. We will touch on that, and who knows, maybe a few other things. But first, let me introduce my podcast comrade, starting off with Grimes. Grimes, brother, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up? Hope everyone is doing well. It's been quite a boring week for me this week. I've just been playing Diablo 4. Not much else. I still have about 3 more episodes in the Fallout series. Hopefully, I can finish it this week. I was so into it, and then I stopped watching it for this other Netflix series called Parasite, which is based on a manga series. But hopefully, I'll finish it. I'll finish the Fallout series this week. But I did install a little game we're going to be talking about today. I see you've been playing it, so can't wait to hear what you've got to say.
Oh, so you have been playing it. I didn't realize
No,
that.
I said no. You have. I'm saying I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I installed it today, so it's definitely going to be. We're going to talk about it, but I want to play it as soon as I'm done with Diablo. It's just too many games to play and not enough time,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too. Like, I find that I'm just, like, sampling a lot of games right now, and it's like, okay, some games that I had an idea of, I'm like, okay, they're not gripping me as much as I thought, but then others are doing the opposite. Like, I had low expectations, so, but, yeah, either way. But yeah, actually, Fallout 2, like, me and the wife have been kind of, like, watching it slowly, like, episode by episode each day, and, yeah, you know what, I'm actually pretty impressed by it, to be honest. So, I'm on...
Yeah.
I got episode 8 to go through, so... no, it's good, I've, again, I had low expectations for it, so it's been exceeding them, so... which is very good.
Yeah.
But thank you, Grimes. Next up, Crusader. Hey, great to see you, pal. How you been?
It's been, because I wasn't on last week because we had a family emergency and some other stuff. But, yeah, Destiny decided that they were going to drop some liquid crack, into the game with a Gears of War style 50-wave horde mode. That is really good. And single-handedly turned Final Shape from being something that, like, a lot of us were looking at as being, like, really disappointing to, like, one of what's looking to be one of the best kind of content expansions, with this, like, the amount of new stuff that's coming with, like, the new enemy race and the advanced style multi-element subclasses, and there's some other third thing that I'm forgetting. But yeah, like, it looks really good, and it has like Dots and I very excited. And we're back back playing the game a lot. So, you know, that's basically where all of my time has gone in the last little bit.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm happy for you that again. It's a nice, pleasant surprise to have an update that was like, well, I have again low expectations, right, and then it surpasses it and then some. So
Yeah, we like. I think our one friend, he was watching the showcase, which I was just gonna watch the highlights of, and he just messaged all of us in chat and was like, "You guys need to tune in right now." And we were like, "What?" And we tuned into the final shape showcase, and it was just like banger after banger. Like Bungie absolutely cooked in the 6-month delay, and they kind of have to because their financials are kind of in the shitter. So like it was expected that they were going to have to try to cook. We just didn't expect them to be able to deliver like anything of like what they showed.
Right.
So.
Well, no, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. So I'm glad to see that, there's a lot of good stuff there, and there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. No, I'm happy about that. Really am. But that's good. No, that's good. And Dots, hey, what's up, man? Dots?
You're there, you're muted, bud.
I don't know. Dots might be away. Let me see. Let me see if he's muted on the Discord. No,
He's not. Yeah.
no, he's not. I don't know. But okay, we'll get back to Dots. We'll get back to the Dots Meister. Yeah, guys, a few guys not making the show tonight for various reasons, but hey, don't worry, you'll see them back soon enough. Again, circumstances, right? That being said, yeah, a very quick reminder to everybody tuning in to just to kindly hit the like button and share out the show, as, hey, you know what? Those actions do help us out immensely, and just be very appreciated on our part. Thank you. But okay, guys, wait on Dots, but let's talk some games. There was a few titles that kind of caught my eye this week for different reasons. Harold Halibut recently released into Xbox Game Pass with critical praise. As well, there was a reveal trailer for a pretty significant game. I have the original game title, and I still have to beat it, but we got the reveal trailer for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I was actually going to ask MLD to start us off on that because I know he really loved the title. But why don't we start off with Harold Halibut? It's a very interesting title. It has a very cool art style. Has anybody actually played it this week by chance, or has it just been me on the show?
Definitely wasn't me. I have been playing just to the liquid fentanyl.
Gotcha. All right, no Grimes. You said you downloaded it, but you haven't had a chance yet. That's understand. But okay, so I'll talk a bit about it. I've spent about an hour or so with it. So yeah, like I said, I really do like the art style. It's done in like a claymation approach to it, with the characters and the environment models. I mean, I have the gameplay on screen so you can see what I'm talking about here, but it has a lot of really nice color contrasts. And again, I've just always had a soft spot for claymation, going back to some old TV shows, movies. I don't know, just always enjoyed that for some reason. My style, my kind of style. Basically, just to do a quick summary of the story, or an intro to the story. There's a ship called the Fedora. It was made to basically escape Earth during like Cold War kind of a thing. And yeah, a whole bunch of people, influential people, went on the ship. And basically it took, I think it was a couple of 100 years to reach the planet they wanted to. But the planet turned out not to be what they expected. The planet is all water. There's like no continents to live on and so forth, and kind of hazardous. So it basically they're just kind of floating in the ocean, and are just kind of looking for, I guess, another planet, so to speak. That being said, there's a lot of mystery going around, and even with like some of the officials on the ship, so it does have quite a bit of mystery. Again, I'm very early on into it, but as much as I do like the art style, personally, like I'm finding it to be a bit on the slow side, like. And even the character that you play as Harold, he is a bit, well, his head's a bit in the clouds, which isn't so much as a bad thing, especially for character development. He probably gets better, I would assume. But it's just the reactions that the other characters have to you, they're just not very nice. They don't take them very seriously. And for like the first, I don't know, 45 minutes, it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you, just the way that they treat him. It's just like, oh, great. It's like all negative. He's like, you can't get anything right. Just very weird. Grimes, I mean, I know you said you downloaded it. Is there anything that really caught your eye about this game that you're hoping to check out?
Yeah, I mean, I love it when we get these surprise gems out of nowhere. And I love my AAA story-driven games, but I find myself playing more indie games these days. They're the ones pushing the industry forward, always experimenting with new creative ideas to implement in the industry. Look at Cuphead or Hades. All great games that borrowed ideas from classics and made something entirely new. While big publishers just release the same thing over and over again, failing to innovate. They need to take some risks, but to do that, gamers and shareholders need to be patient. A conversation we have here all the time is the games take a long time to make. We all want to get our hands on games we're excited about to play as soon as possible, me included. But that's just not the reality. When Cyberpunk was being developed, I was like, come on, release the damn thing. And we know how that game turned out on launch. Granted, I still think it was a great game and great experience when it came out. But again, they need to take time developing games. And it's not like film where you can just set up a scene with props, lighting, etc., etc., etc. In games, there are millions of tiny things that can add to game development time. With coming back to Harold, it took approximately 14 years to make this game.
Wow. I mean, I knew it took a little while, but really that long?
Yes. Yeah, because the way, so if you're interested to know how a lot of the models were made, they're obviously, like you alluded to, it's claymation. So they made all the clay models, then in simpler terms, they 3D scanned each model and environment using a method known as photogrammetry, in which you take pictures of an object in 360 degrees. Then the 3D software does all the magic, combining all the pictures you took into making a 3D object from that with the hyper realistic textures. A lot of studios do that. Most AAA studios use photogrammetry for assets, or even to make humans. That's how Hellblade is using photogrammetry, like all those mountains from Iceland and environments, they use photogrammetry. So that's how they made those. They're not actually claymation claymation models inside the game. They're just 3D scan clay models made into 3D with the texture.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still had to make the models regardless, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Then it's all about the lightening the scene. This is what makes the environment come to life, and what makes or breaks the experience. And this is actually Slowbro's first ever game. And what a way to introduce yourself to the world. I mean, and like I said, I love the concept of Harold. How cool would it be if we got a modern celebrity deathmatch with 4K visuals for current or next gen consoles?
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone played the old school celebrity deathmatch for, I think it was like PlayStation 2 or maybe PlayStation 1. So it just needs to come back. I love that art style, and it's probably much easier to do that now. Just convert them into, scan them into 3D models like Slow Bros did, and I'm sure Paramount can hire a bigger team to make a game like that. But I digress. It also reminds me of this English stop motion clay animation movie series.
Let me guess. Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, does anyone know where this Slow Bros are from? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they're from the UK.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to search them, to be honest. One sec.
Yeah. Because it does look like it's been inspired by Wallace and Gromit, but yeah, so really cool. And yeah, like you mentioned, it's no surprise that it's getting all these rave reviews. They deserve it, and this shows you don't ever give up on your dreams. So many people would have given up after so many years working on a project, not to mention the financial hit attached to a project like this. So well done to them. I hope Microsoft paid them a handsome fee to bring the game onto Game Pass, and I hope it's a financial success. Also, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the studio's based in Germany.
Oh, Europe. So I'm sure close enough. But also, does anyone know what's the criteria for getting nominated for Game of the Year? Because I'm
There
surely
isn't. It's just this year. That's
okay.
it.
I'm sorry, surely this game should be under consideration at the very least,
For maybe art direction. Again, I'm pretty early into it, but like gameplay wise, I wouldn't say it's anything truly special.
What's the genre? Like, how does it play?
It's like a side scroller kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, is it like a hack, like a side and scroller, like hack and slash kind of thing, or
No.
is it like no? It's just
That's
like
adventure.
It's like adventure and puzzle kind of a thing.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it because I love VR, so and I do like my slow type of games. So maybe, hopefully by next week I'll have given it a try. But I'm happy for the studio, and I just hope that, like I mentioned, I hope that it's a financial success because everyone hopes to make money doing something they love, and it definitely seems like Slow Bros truly love what they're doing. And another thing I actually found out is that none of them were actually artists when they started making this game. So it was all new. It was all new to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Don't ever give up on your dreams.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that. I thought these guys would have had, some kind of a background in like art or art direction or something like that. So that's very, very interesting. Cool. Let's see. Dots, I just want to check your audio. You there, Dots? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, there you are. There you are. How's it going, man?
Good when my internet's working. I had to switch to mobile, so if I sound different, that's why. But yeah, no, otherwise, no, everything's good here. Just, Cliff Notes version, as Crusader said, a lot more Destiny in our diets, whether we wanted it or not.
We wanted it or not, indeed.
But yeah, no, otherwise, Destiny, some other video games. I'm literally working on my last Space Marine Warhammer mini before I go back to Necrons, and then maybe more Necrons, and then maybe more Necrons after that. Who knows? Maybe I'll throw a Knight in there, and then after that, more Necrons. It's kind of a pick and choose world we live in. But no, I watched the trailer for Harold, and as Grimes said, I mean, the Wallace and Gromit style is certainly there. I don't know if that's a true inspiration they were going for, because there was another like claymation stop motion movie that people were all crazy about. It was like the Fantastical Mr. Fox or something.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go Chicken Run.
Yeah.
Listen. Oh, because Chicken Run's made by the same people who made Wallace and Gromit, but the other Fantastical Mr. Fox, I think it's what it's called, had like a different style. I think there was like Dog Island too. Dog Island as well, I mean, but yeah. Yeah, no, so like the style's definitely there. I loved Wallace and Gromit as a kid. So that's definitely, that's some bonus points for me. But no, the game seems very interesting. The concepts there are very obviously people were saying it's like maybe 12, 16 hours tops. Kind of a story narrative, but like, that's not a terrible thing. But I think obviously the big thing is, the amount of effort and time put into a game like this for just the artistic style of it is fantastic. And definitely deserving, even if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it definitely deserves, some, animation or artistic style awards come next big event like that. For sure, honestly. But yeah, no, it looks really interesting. I'm not sure if I'll pick it up anytime soon, but like, that's not saying that it's not something I wouldn't play. I just, have a lot of other stuff going on. But yeah, no, from everything I've seen, it's definitely very intriguing, very, hey, if you want a good story narrative and something that's, very artistically pleasing. I mean, I guess not to everyone. I mean, while it is to me, I know some people might find the claymation stuff a little weird. I mean, I know, for example, my girlfriend loves The Nightmare Before Christmas, and so, stuff like that is, very popular for a lot of different people.
I'm a big fan of like the old school claymation, like all the old Ray Harryhausen like claymation, like monster movies, like what the hell is it called? Jason and the Argonauts, the old Sinbad movies.
Yeah.
I love those to death. Like, I just think there's so much personality in them. And that goes for like a lot of the like more recent stuff too. Like, you know that movie Coraline? I think that was claymation.
Yeah, no,
Coraline's
that's that
great.
same. That's that same genre as like Nightmare Before Christmas and what was it, Frankenweenie
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the Corpse's Bride was the other big one of
Yeah.
that like quote
That's
unquote
correct.
trio.
But even like, I mean, you can only, you know, I guess there's only like a certain kind of a movie you can do it with, but like a lot of them that I've seen it done with, I just really adore because again, I just love the I don't know, maybe it's just the texture to them. Like I like having the feeling that there's I don't know, like there's something there, you know, it's not just as much as you know, I appreciate CGI, it's just like I can appreciate this other medium, you know?
There's something cool about seeing something so it's something that we literally have the ability to touch, you know, that claymation, and like but seeing it flow so liquid, you know, like with facial animations or and whatnot, even though it, you know, it's stop motion, you know, in its own way, just seeing that because it's something that is legitimately real, just, you know, edited with photography and whatnot is really cool because I mean, like, you know, like one of my favorite facts about, like, for example, the Nightmare Before Christmas is that Jack Skellington, his head, they had to make like over 50 different versions of his head or something so that anytime he did like a different facial animation, it was them taking off his head, putting on the next head for the next photo, and then, you know, doing that, you know, 20 times in a scene to only make up for about like 3-5 seconds of the movie, just for that little part. And it's just, you know, it's all just clay heads that they had to switch on and off depending on what he was doing or saying a sentence or whatnot. And like, you know, the effort and skill behind all of that is, you know, very I was about to say admirable, but like more very skillful and very cool looking. So yeah, but like, you know, it's something that we literally can see and feel, you know, claymation versus, you know, CGI, where it's just like, I mean, obviously I know some CGI has, you know, uh actors behind it where they, you know, trace motion them and whatnot. But uh yeah, no, I think the style of the game really fits that really well. Even if it looks a little bit more like those other, like I said, Fantastical Mr. Fox and like I think Dog Island's the other one. I think it fits their style of claymation a little more than Wallace and Gromit, but like still really cool stuff. Um, the underwater, you know, section of it and the lighting all looks great. I'm sure it gives some people BioShock vibes in that regard. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's a good contender for a lot of good artistic awards in future gaming events for sure.
Oh man, how could I talk about claymation without mentioning Pengu? Oh man, Pengu was the shit. You know the claymation with the penguins. Yes, no.
Yes.
Oh,
I love the reaction images
I'm
of
only
Pengu.
familiar with the evil penguin from the second Wallace and Gromit movie.
oh,
I was gonna bring that up.
oh, that's funny.
That's the only penguin I know about claymation. He was a menace, probably the most like the absolute most scary like creature I've ever seen in my life.
The scene where the Wallace is standing there with the rolling pin, like smacking it in his hand like he's gonna beat up the penguin, and then the penguin just pulls out a fucking gun.
He just pulls a
Yeah.
revolver
He
out of
pulls a
nowhere.
revolver out of nowhere.
Someone needs to make a video game about that.
I know.
Yes.
Maybe.
You know that's like what's that game with was it a rat with a gun or I forgot.
There's
There's
a
a game
squirrel with a gun. That's
Squirrel.
coming out this
Squirrel.
year.
Yeah, squirrel with a
Yes.
gun. Yeah.
No,
That was originally just a Unreal Tech demo that everyone
Yeah.
kept saying you need to make this into a game, and he was like, "Fine, it's nonsense, but fine."
yeah, I'm looking forward to that actually. Looks
Yeah, I was showing that off to somebody earlier, and he's like, "Wow, that's crazy." So, Because it's not just a gun. Now he has like rocket launchers and stuff too, which is insane. But yeah, no, I can't wait for that. And yeah, Crusader. I mean, I'm kind of curious. I don't know if you plan to like download, check out, I keep saying Halibut Harold for some reason, but it's actually Harold Halibut. So Harold Halibut, is this a game that you like plan to check out? Is it something on your list?
Almost certainly.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would be playing it right now, to be 100% honest with you, if it wasn't for Destiny 2. Like I legitimately, like, it looks visually really cool. I'd never heard of it until the Game Pass announcement. So I watched a trailer or two. I didn't really quite like when I was watching the trailer, I watched it without sound, and I was just kind of like looking at the visuals, and like it does look really, really, really cool.
Mm-hmm, it does. Yeah.
So it'll definitely be on my list, but like I have not looked that much into it. I have not played it.
Invader, does it have any voice acting?
Yeah, it's entirely voice acted. So it's not. I mean, I know you can see text on the screen when people are talking, but yeah, there's all kinds of voice acting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool actually, because a lot of indie studios would have made the easier choice of just having text on the screen rather than having voice actors as well.
You know, I think that actually would have hurt this game, to be honest. So I'm glad that they did include, like, you know, get voice actors for it. Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. I mean, there is a lot of quality to it. It's a very, I mean, again, I hate to say it because, you know, there is a lot of detail to it, but it's just, like, it's more about, again, the storytelling than it is about the actual gameplay itself. It's very narrative driven. So guys, don't expect like a lot of like like exploration, moving around, that kind of a thing. There are puzzles though. There are puzzles. So there's that. But yeah, guys, I mean, I would suggest checking it out. Again, I've only had about an hour into it, and again, like, I plan on putting some more time into it going into next week. Very interesting title. I'm glad I got to pay, you know, to try it out with Game Pass, because I mean, I might have purchased it, but this is, you know, it's one of those times where it's just like, yeah, Game Pass, like, really, this was a really nice title for Game Pass for sure. Guys, any other thoughts on the title? Yes, no? All right. Now, just out of curiosity, I mean, I like, MLD was supposed to be here to more talk about this, but there was a reveal trailer for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Had a nice trailer for it, some CGI, some gameplay in there. I don't know, did you guys check out the trailer? Like, and if so, what'd you think of it? Did any of you guys play Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one?
I did not. I know it's kind of like Skyrim.
Ish, yeah. No magic or anything like that. It's
right,
more...
it's set in like medieval Europe. It's Skyrim without magic in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, yeah. So like, it's set in the Holy Roman Empire. Basically more in like the Czech lands, like Bohemia to be specific. And you basically go from peasant to like your father's like a smith and so on. And then, without revealing a lot, a tragedy happens, and slowly you get involved, and, you know, you go on your own, like, quest to become something more. And it's a very interesting game, too, because, again, like, in something like Skyrim, I'm not calling Skyrim an easy game by any means, but I would say it's a lot easier to get into than at least the first Kingdom Come. Because they focus a lot on the melee combat, specifically the sword combat, and that threw some people off. Like, some people found it a little too, like, technically advanced. Some really, really loved it. I liked it. I was, like, kind of in between there, but I really enjoyed, like, the detail that they put into that. that being said, yeah, very historical, and yeah, I mean, I thought they, like, overall with like the environments and everything, very beautiful, very well done. Admittedly, I never got around to finishing it. I will be going back to that. I'm kind of hoping like sometime in like the summer, July and August, because I also do have like all the DLC for it, and now that the sequel's coming out for it, I'm really looking forward to it. There was no firearms in the first one, but in this trailer they're introducing firearms now into it, so that should be very interesting, like the really really old school firearms like muskets and stuff. So actually not yeah.
Oh,
Oh no,
it
go ahead.
does look gorgeous, though, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, it does look very good, and I'm curious with how they continue the story. Um, I mean, like Dots, was this a game that, like, did you ever play Kingdom Come or the first one, or no?
I did not play the first one, but I did watch the trailer, and obviously it's fitting what you were just explaining with all that. Um, I was gonna say, like, I saw the first person crossbow gameplay, and I'm like, oh boy, is Skyrim! I can't wait to build my stealth build again, just without magic. But no, it looks interesting. I've always had a fan, even even if it's not fantasy, I've definitely had a love of the chivalrous knight thing. Even if you might be not so chivalrous with whatever the story takes place, but regardless, the medieval times is always like a fun era to play around with, and so having it kind of a first person story with that will obviously we'll have to see how the melee combat is compared to the first one, because I guess if people weren't the biggest, were they not a fan of like the melee combat in general, or was they just not a fan of how like that was forced upon them as like the only means of combat?
It wasn't so
Would you say?
much just going into it. It wasn't so much that it was forced on them. I guess just a lot of people didn't like, because it had a very, I don't want to say complicated, but it was very much like the parrying and the timing, and it was just it's a lot more advanced than some other games with their close combat. Um, and like, for example, like from what I remember, like, yeah, you really have to like get your timings correct, and like again, like it's a very particular how do I put it? It's not very forgiving. Let's just put it like that. But once you get it, it's like it feels great. It feels great. I can tell you that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's very technical melee combat. But at the same time, like once you learn it, like it's really amazing. And it definitely
About when did the first game come out?
2018.
Yeah.
2018. Okay, so I feel that in 6 years or so, they might have the melee updated to something that's a little bit more
but
new player friendly.
But again, they were going like they're really heavily going for like realism too. Like I know that they were like dealing with sword masters, with like historical like swords and everything. Like, so they were really trying to like get, they were trying to really get down to like the nitty gritty when it came to authenticity. So I can't blame them there. Like when you bought this game, you knew what you were going into, and it does have a very hardcore like fan base to it. Like a lot of people I've seen like who played the first game really like talk highly, but I know GeneralMLD really loves the game and he's excited for it. So
It's one of those games that it's loved by gamers, like you mentioned, but not but hated by critics.
well, yeah, well, yeah, I
You,
know.
you mean
I
like
do know
you mean
someone
like
who-
the Cuphead people?
I love Dean. Dean is the
No.
Cuphead guy.
No, I
Well-
would say like Alien Isolation. That's the game I like to bring up.
Oh, Isolation, yeah, well,
Did Isolation have a lot of problems at launch though? That
No.
kind of.
No, it didn't. No.
no, it didn't. Basically, the thing with Isolation was, well, first of all, I don't think it was marketed as much as it should have been, and number two, like, how do I put it? there
It
was
was
no
so difficult.
there was no combat. That's what it was. Or there was very tiny amount. You were, I mean, again, if I just said it was hiding, like, I mean, okay, that was it, but like there was more to it. You know what I mean?
Or
Because there was a lot of
It, wa-
crafting and so on.
it was a survival game, so you couldn't actually kill the alien. And a lot when it launched, it was very hard. So they had to make a new difficulty mode for because all those reviewers were complaining that they couldn't beat the game. So they made a normal mode for the game.
yeah, see, I would probably. I don't like games for difficulty, so I probably would have been among them.
But
Mhm.
but it was also if you had the Kinect, if you had Kinect,
Yeah.
it had a feature that the alien could actually
hear you.
Yeah,
I think it works with an open mic on PC now.
yeah.
So I think that's what my one friend was playing it the one time and was talking about that.
But yeah, back to the other game. So I'm sure it's probably the same reason why they hate it.
Well, I do know Kingdom Come Deliverance had some pretty nasty bugs, and the reason I know that is I had a friend who played it
There was a few,
at
yeah.
launch, and he had some problems where like he just couldn't continue the game. Like physically, they could not continue his save.
Mm-hmm.
So that I do remember that I know it had some technical issues.
Okay.
I'm very curious because the new game is supposed to be like double the size, and again expands on the combat, and it does visually looks very good.
It did really well, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it did.
'Cause they keep porting it places. I know it somehow is playing on the Switch.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't, and I've heard it's not a horrible Switch port either. I don't know what it's like. It did get a next gen update, correct? It has a Series X version.
Believe so. I believe so. Yes. I'm gonna have to boot it up sometime soon because I do deserve to put more time into it.
I know I bought it for like $5.
Yeah, actually,
Because it goes on turbo sale all the time.
Yeah, Thimber in the chat was saying that apparently it's on sale again. I guess the sale ends tomorrow on Xbox, but he says it's like $5-6, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's probably worth it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, and I would imagine that's the one with all the DLC too. So.
And is the second one coming day one on Xbox, or is it coming to?
No. It's not a Game Pass title as far as I know, but it's coming out this year. So.
Yeah, it is like it's launching on all platforms at once. If that was your question.
Okay,
So it is not a Game Pass title.
No,
Yeah.
unless they announce something, but
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be on Game Pass, but I was wondering if it came on PC first.
No, yeah, it is all platforms. From what I understand.
I am curious though. I am curious because again, like Warhorse, Studio Warhorse, again they're the ones that make the game. They were bought by, well, okay, long story short, they're owned by Embracer Group. So, yeah.
Which subsidiary are they under? Do you know?
Deep Silver, I think.
They're under Deep Silver. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, they're relatively stable. It's just when I heard that they were announced by Deep Silver, and then Deep Silver got bought by Embracer. Long story short, like I was kind of like, I didn't have a lot of hope for a sequel to this game, but hey, I mean that's fantastic. I'm glad to see that Kingdom Come 2 like is a thing. So, just too bad they're under Embracer. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, honestly. Like, again, it looks like a big upgrade, and I really like that. I really like what I played from the first one anyways, and I do plan on finishing it. Any other thoughts, guys? Yes, no? Alright, I guess that's fair. But either way, guys, I'm really excited to see, like, a proper reveal for the game. And it's not even, June yet, right? When the big stuff happens. So I'm really happy that they got ahead of that. That's really good. But, yeah, guys in the chat, again, it's great to see you all here. If you haven't done so already, smash the like button. And, yeah, like, sub to the channel if you're a new face, like, in the chat, just listening in. And share out the show. Glad to have you, glad to have you. Oh, what's that, Thember? Owned by PlayOn. Okay, apparently it's they're owned by PlayOn.
So previously, Cook Media.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Coke Media rebranded to Play On. Because I believe they have a secondary publishing arm under them now, and they wanted to differentiate stuff, so they changed a bunch of names.
Okay.
Because they have an independent, kind of like independent AA, AAA style publishing arm that handles, like they did Payday 3, not that Payday 3 came out well, but like they handled like publishing for that, so that's that arm of
All right.
Embracer.
All right, good to know. Good to know. But okay, guys, let's move on to some other bits of news, and let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, so guys, like, you know, on to some PlayStation news and Sea of Thieves. And Sea of Thieves seems to be doing pretty well, huh? Like, what, you got like a 7-8-year-old game, something like that. And, you know, it seems to be pulling in some pretty good numbers. I mean, it's not even released yet on PlayStation, yet it was just announced that the game hit a milestone of 40 million players, which is insane. Which is, you know, that's pretty amazing considering, like, the age of the game. Dots, I'm not sure if you've been playing or you've played Sea of Thieves. I can't remember, but, I mean, hey, 40 million players concurrently, so that's pretty awesome. Like, I don't know, what do you see for the further success of this game? Like, you know, is like 50 million out of the question, 45, 60, like, I don't know. What do you think of this new milestone for Sea of Thieves?
I think it's great. I have not played it. I definitely it's an unfortunate thing because I mean I've heard so many good things about it. Hell, I think the last pirate themed game I played was the old Pirates of the Caribbean MMO, like way back in the day. I never even played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but no, I've seen a lot for it. And, you know, I've seen the memes for the game, and like I know that was a big thing when they did their Pirates of the Caribbean crossover event, too. But no, 40 million's amazing, and the fact that that number will likely get a nice big jump when they do drop it on the PS5. That's no, that this is great, and this is just showing that people can shut the hell up about, you know, Microsoft not having good games, because I think 40 million is a good number for a game like this, and the fact that it's been going on for 6 years, like the game lasting for 6 years is amazing. Yeah, no, I think this is big, and I think the PS5 numbers would have a good chance to bring that up to 50 mil. But yeah, no, I think the team did well. I think that, you know, was it on the 30th. So in 9 days when we hit PS5, that's gonna be big. Obviously they'll have its own, you know, hurdles and whatnot. I mean, at least PS5s aren't like spontaneously combusting anymore, right? But yeah, no, this is great, but unfortunately, because I have not actually played the game, I can't really give any, you know, insight of how the game has grown and whatnot, other than like my knowledge of, oh yeah, they added a Pirates of the Caribbean crossover event, and that was like a high point, and that got everyone excited because I don't know many people who like don't know when it comes to like pirate things. I don't know anything bigger than Pirates of the Caribbean. So yeah, no, it's
Monkey Island.
I don't know if that's bigger or not.
Bigger, but that was notable, and it's also in it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, but that's all I got really for that then.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. How about you, Crusader? I mean, honestly, like, maybe I shouldn't say I'm shocked, but like, I know Sea of Thieves originally when it first came out, it was, I mean, again, I played it when it first came out. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but it was, you know, a little, again, on the rougher side. I remember when it came out, but now it's turned into I don't know if I call it a heavyweight, but it's certainly it's got a sizable community behind it, and having had 40 million players behind it, that's a pretty impressive milestone, I would think, huh?
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. 40 million lifetime. I think it's only slightly ahead of Forza Horizon 5, which is really impressive because Forza Horizon 5 has like a much larger kind of it's less niche, if that makes sense. Than like Sea of Thieves is more niche than like the racing game.
Right.
And so like hearing that it's done 40 million is absolutely wild. And yeah, like cuz with it there's now like 8 Microsoft owned titles in the top like 20 on PlayStation or 25. Which is kind of nuts. Kind of really frustrating that like we're now 3-4-3 or 3-for-3, no pun intended, with games that Microsoft has ported to PlayStation being like better technically on PlayStation. This one actually like not even like like frame rate or anything like that. Like it just has better visual settings. I really hope that we're getting an update on Xbox to coincide with the PlayStation launch, because at least with the beta, the visuals are significantly higher. Like settings, all kinds of settings are just higher for visual fidelity. So kind of frustrated with Microsoft with that, but like they're gonna hit. If it isn't the PlayStation release that makes them hit 50 million, it's going to be the Switch 2 release because that will inevitably happen. Now that it's everywhere, it will inevitably happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna do numbers. It is like I've said it before. It's Microsoft's most successful IP from the Xbox One generation by a lot. Or at least new IP, I should say, from that generation. I would argue that Forza is probably the most successful IP of that generation. Yeah, like it's pulling phenomenal numbers. And it's going to continue to do so. It also reinforces my feelings that if you're a live service game, you're almost certainly going to be on all platforms. Because you're going to see that it's going to pull so much freaking money over time. Like I've been people on this like who have been following us since the Bethesda deal know that I've been saying that like ZeniMax Online Studios next MMO is going to be everywhere. That was before Microsoft's multi-platform changes, right? I really think that if you're a live service game and you're not a staple IP of a company, like I don't know about Halo and Gears, don't know about like if The Last of Us, if that was if that thing was to ever come out, it wouldn't be everywhere. The Last of Us, whatever that free-to-play multiplayer game was going to be called, Factions.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like that wouldn't be everywhere. But like, I have a feeling that any new IPs are just going to be everywhere. Like we're seeing Fallout 76 do absolute numbers right now too. Like we're seeing the Fallout franchise, which hasn't had a new title in 6 years, have 4 of the top 10 slots in Europe, right? Which is incredible that Fallout 3, a 16-year-old game, is number 10 in sales in an entire region.
That is pretty
right?
impressive, yeah.
Like, we're slowly moving to an era of games, just kind of the software being separated from the hardware, and you can kind of see why. Because look at like the Fallout games and Sea of Thieves are both great examples. Sea of Thieves is doing absolute numbers on PlayStation, or it is doing absolute numbers on PlayStation in pre-orders.
Yeah, it's the premium edition too. That's really which is interesting.
Yeah, so it's doing absolute numbers on PlayStation. Fallout, which is with its show, is doing absolute numbers everywhere. And this is why you're going to see games go everywhere, because it's to maximize software sales. Now, I think that they need to. We have rumors from Nick about Special Nick over at Xbox Era about preliminary discussions for Helldivers 2 to come to more platforms.
He's in the
which,
chat,
again,
by the way.
he's in the chat. I do not have the chat open tonight. But we have preliminary discussions about that, which again makes total sense. I've been saying that the live service games, you can expect to see them everywhere. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to hear that Helldivers is hitting the Switch 2 and the Xbox Series consoles, because especially with the service games, they really don't. They could be used to push the consoles and to push adoption of the consoles, but they're more better suited to push kind of just general revenue. They do that better with more people playing, right? Like, I don't think that is a hot take. That's why Bungie, when they were purchased by Sony, was purchased under the full guise of them remaining totally multi-platform. Why? Because the games that they make will make far more money and far more value for PlayStation as a company than they would the PlayStation brand. And I think the same is true largely for every game that is ever made. I have been very staunch in saying that. I've just been very critical of the transitioning too quickly to that kind of business model, because you have to wean people who have been trained on exclusivity pushing hardware for 40 years. You have to wean them off and actually give them alternate reasons to want the hardware over the software, with not just the software pushing it, which is why I've been nervous about things. But like, you can see the results that doing this is good. Doing this makes a ton of money. Doing this kind of stuff, even with single player games, if you can push the brand to casuals, does huge numbers. Like what we're seeing with Fallout, right? Like, Fallout is like the top of every platform right now. Fallout is like only behind like Fortnite and shit like that, which is insane to think about. Absolutely insane. It's creeping into Game Pass, and next week we're gonna see the patch, and it's gonna creep up too. So I have to be like, I also have to get my my compatibility in here. There's a reason why it's really good that like games remain on stores and don't leave, because we're seeing that with Fallout and stuff too right now. And one of the big things about getting Sea of Thieves on like all of the modern digital platforms is like, Sea of Thieves isn't just going to until they turn the servers off. Sea of Thieves is still going to pull numbers on all of these platforms, even when the PS6 and Xbox Series nonsense name releases, in 2026, 7, 8, whenever they decide to release them, right? So like, we're going to keep seeing large numbers for games. Like, these numbers keep growing for games like Sea of Thieves and for games like Helldivers and things like that, specifically because if you put them everywhere and you put them on platforms that have digital forwards and backwards compatibility, you're going to see people keep playing them. Because I know I shared it. I don't know if we discussed it on the show, but I did share the infographic with you guys a while back about how the average release year of a game on Xbox and PlayStation right now is about 7 to 8 years old, right? Like, your Fortnites, your Apex Legends and stuff like that. They're like, the average age of a game is 7 to 8 years that the majority of people are playing on these platforms. So Sea of Thieves is going to continue to get updated and continue to get played for like probably half a decade or more to come, if not a decade or more to come, right? And that's why they're putting it everywhere, because the more places you put it, the better it does. Again, my criticism has completely been Xbox needs to put the Xbox fans first, right? And make sure that their current base isn't going to leave them, because they'll lose way more money than they'll gain if they aren't careful. And so but like, again, Sea of Thieves is doing phenomenal, and I'm very excited to see it do phenomenal, because at the end of the day, the software is the most important thing. It's just, I don't want to lose my access to my software. So, but the numbers are immense, and because people like it. There's nothing like it. The only thing like it is Skull and Bones, and Skull and Bones is bad.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like, there are competitors to Sea of Thieves, but Sea of Thieves is the only one that does it well enough.
Good. Yeah.
My big critique of Sea of Thieves was Not so much the ship-to-ship combat, but I really didn't like the like the hand-to-hand, like, there was only like swords and like one or two different kinds of like actual handheld weapons, but they're changing that up now. They're adding some stuff. I don't know if they had already, or they're doing it soon, but I did see that in the pipeline, and I will be getting into it again sometime soon just because of that. And it just, actually what strikes me too about the game, I don't know if it's the art style too, but it still looks very pretty to this day. It transfers over very well, which...
It's stylized, hyper stylized, and like people who, I always praise that. It's like it's not as pretty as Ori, but it's like Ori, right? Where like
it's
nothing quite looks like it.
It's
the water is so beautiful, like it's so gorgeous.
Yes. Yeah, they did put a lot of effort into that. No, it's actually Sea of Thieves is quite the success story.
So do you guys think they're gonna I mean, I know Crusader alluded to it, but you guys don't think they're gonna make a second one anytime soon? They're just gonna continue adding to this game.
The only reason they'd make a second one is if the first one becomes too unwieldy to continue. For example, we now have like precise rumors that like are very credible that like we're getting a Destiny 3 in the next couple years.
Oh wow.
Mostly because the engine itself is becoming too like the game itself is becoming too unwieldy. So I would say that Sea of Thieves would get updated until they can't update it anymore without causing a ton of problems consistently in the game, right? Because when the live service games get too big, they start to get really unwieldy, and you see a lot of problems. Like Warzone is like that.
Well,
I mean, like...
Epic takes a lot of care to trim crap out of the game, like like Epic's really good with that with tech debt. They don't. Does everyone know what tech debt is?
Sort of.
Basically, rewriting your code to modernize it instead of like piling on old stuff on top of each other, so that like it becomes almost impossible to fix like some things because the code is so old, and if you change one thing here, it breaks 8 things over there.
Slip space.
Yeah. Right. No, Halo has a ton of technological debt to it. They like, and that's Destiny's massive problem is its tech debt. And so if Sea of Thieves ever gets to a point where it's too impossible to overcome the tech debt, and you start to see problems, which I've never seen reported with Sea of Thieves, so I don't think it would be anytime soon.
Yeah.
But that would be when that happens.
I mean,
right? That's when you get Sea of Thieves 2.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just see them focusing on, just Sea of Thieves as is for now. Again, they're just launching on PlayStation. The eventual Switch 2 whenever that happens.
I think you can guarantee the port to Switch 2 if it can run on it, right? I think you can absolutely you can quote me on that. I have no sources, but you can quote me that it's gonna happen.
But it would be smart for Rare to work on, especially with, again, the condition of Everwild still. It just kind of smart for Rare just to, like, again, focus on what's very successful for them, and then try and reworking Everwild like they're doing right now. It seems like it's been in limbo forever.
What do you guys think is going to be the next DLC we get for Sea of Thieves? I mean, they've already, like we talked about, Pirates of the Caribbean, Monkey Island. Maybe could we get Peter Pan next?
That would be really cool. That would be a really, really cool crossover. Peter Pan, like, when you have that plus Pirates of the Caribbean, you might be able to get me to hop in. That would be...
It's all Disney property, by the way. Like, all 3 are owned by Disney.
Yeah, because Lucasfilm owns
Monkey Island,
and Pirates of the Caribbean is Disney proper.
Yeah.
Peter Pan would be really cool. Because what else could they do?
I
Yeah, like,
mean, we were just talking about claymation stuff, and it probably wouldn't happen, but I would love to see them do like a Sinbad thing.
Sinbad would be another one. Does Disney also
Yeah.
own that?
I don't think so,
Who owns
but
Sinbad?
Would they pair up with Black Flag or even just Ubisoft with
No.
Assassin's Creed?
I
They're
know.
gonna see each other as direct competitors right now.
Fair enough.
Um,
No, yeah, because Skull and Bones is them.
yeah, because Skull and Bones is out.
But I mean, there's a few options though. Yeah, I mean, the Pirates DLC was it was pretty interesting seeing that. It did seem successful. So yeah, they could do that.
Crossover with Pirate Bay.
I wish I could say. I wish I could say a Treasure Planet, but that's too like technologically different.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the technologies of like the universes. Because
They could still
I
do
love
like
Treasure
cosmetic
Planet.
though.
Treasure
could still
Planet
do-
is underrated.
They could still do that as cosmetics. Just make the normal sails look like solar
that would be really
sails.
cool. I
Just-
love Treasure Planet, and like again, that's another thing. You do
Yeah,
Treasure
Make,
Planet, you get me an
a
immediately.
cosmetic to make your arm look like a cyborg, even if it's just like cosmetic and doesn't actually do anything
Yeah.
special.
I
I mean,
mean,
they have some other Xbox property skins in Sea of Thieves, so why not? But maybe have like some Halo
well, anything is possible. Like
I just
yeah.
don't know enough pirate stuff, you know?
no. What about Treasure Island? That would make
Could do
sense as
Treasure
well.
Island.
Yeah.
Sid-
It would be
cro-
more violence.
crossovers with Sid Meier's Pirates.
Lol.
I know.
But no, yeah, Peter Pan would make perfect sense, and I hope it actually does happen.
Yeah, again, there's quite a few options, and I think you guys just listed off quite a few interesting ones actually, a lot of fun ones that a lot of people would like to see as well. What about you, Grimes? What do you think about this? Again, like we're just talking about again the milestone of 40 million players. I mean, agree with what the guys are saying. Like, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Like, do you think we're gonna see a considerable jump with the PlayStation numbers?
Absolutely, I think at probably 10 to 20 more million players. I think we'll see, but Sea of Thieves is another example of a studio taking risks. Rare had never experienced with live service games before, so it was a first for them. And who would have predicted this massive amount of success, having seen the state of a game when it launched? My friends and I, we played it when it first came out, and all of them dropped off within a month of playing it. So I wasn't gonna play it by myself, so I also stopped playing it. But I had my fun with it. And look, Rare stuck with the game. They listened to player feedback, and it's completely unrecognizable, as we've mentioned so many times. It's completely unrecognizable from when it launched on Xbox. I just wish they had released the solo mode a year or two earlier, because I want to play it, but I wasn't gonna play it by myself against a group of it's best played with friends, and most people that play it, it's a group of 3 or 4 players sailing together. So how am I gonna fend off for myself against 4 people? You couldn't play it by yourself.
Yeah, I'll admit, like, if I was playing by myself as well, I would just, I don't know, if I saw, like, random ships, I would go after them. I was a daredevil like that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's fun to go and attack other people, but it's fun for you, but for, like, the
Well, that's.
for the solo player, it's not that fun. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
but yeah,
understandable, right? When it's a shared world game, right? So.
exactly. I mean, like, I'm sure a few of you guys have played the Division. The Dark Zone, it was the same exact thing. I mean, I played the shit out of the Dark Zone, and it was so fun. But it wasn't for everyone. But at least with the Division, it wasn't forced on you, so you could play the single player stuff by yourself, and it was fun. It was good enough. But if you wanted a more challenging experience with backstabbing, you had the Dark Zone. Uh, but anyway, yeah. So the solo mode is finally here. It's I've I've tried going back, but it's so hard going back to a game you haven't played in years. But
Mm-hmm.
I did try the both the free DLCs they gave us, the Monkey Island one and the Pirates of the Caribbean, and they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they were free. They didn't have to make them free. But look, they just wanted to give something back to the community, to all those people that stuck with the game.
I will say too, Grimes, that this game, a lot of its success had to do with streaming, right? And
Yeah,
it's just like the unique, like there's just so many unique situations in that game that are just hard to replicate. Like I remember I was playing with Stinking Corpse and Jago, and great guys by the way, and like I we were doing some kind of a quest. I can't remember exactly, but we were hoarding these barrels, these explosive barrels, and we had a lot of them. I would say like 10, 12, something like that. And you know, something happened, and they like we put them all like again in the bottom of our ship, and lo and behold they went off, right? Something happened, it went off, and boom, and we all died, and we had to restart everything. But it was just one of those things where it's just I think I have a clip of it somewhere too, maybe even on my channel. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, it sucked, but at the same time it was just like one of those things where you laugh it off because the game is just so lighthearted that it's just like, okay, guys, come on. Like, I know this took us an hour or 45 minutes to do, but, if you got the time, we can do it again. And like, okay, sure, whatever. Grab another beer, ready to go.
yeah. I mean, it's a game that you can mess around with your friends, and it's you said lighthearted, but it was also challenging.
Yes.
So I mean, like those little stylized skeletons, they can kick your ass if you know.
Yeah, well, some of them have pretty good accuracy, right? And some of the monsters too. Like, actually, to be honest, I'm not sure if there's any more monsters. I remember there was the shark, and then there was the octopus, like the tentacles. I remember Sea of Thieves got a lot of crap at the beginning too, because there wasn't like some people would go into the water, and then like there wouldn't be like a body to the monsters in the water, which I guess, but
yeah, but it's the ocean. I mean, like
yeah,
it's that thing is massive, and
yeah.
But there's the Meg, right? I think like the shark you're talking about.
The
Meg?
megalodon, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I remember that. But like
I know that.
like just certain things, like certain stories that you can, talk about hunting the shark or whatever, or the kraken, and like everybody has a unique story about how they took it down, or let's say like it got your ship, you didn't take it out, but like the crew survived, you're able to make it to an island or something if you were close enough. It's just like there's all these like unique stories that really only Sea of Thieves can make. It's like the only type of game in its genre or whatever that you can really do that with. Like somebody brought up Skull and Bones, and Skull and Bones, it's so restricted. You can't do anything with it. I mean, it's a pirate game, but you're locked to a lot of things. You're very controlled in what you do. Sea of Thieves, okay, it's cartoony, but it gives you a lot of freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft dropped the ball with that game. They should have just... And they had it easy because Assassin's Creed, what was it? Black Flag, right? They could have easily just taken everything from that game and made it into a new game. But no, they just had to make it boring.
Well, yeah, they could have. They could have. I mean, I'm shocked, to be honest, that they could bungle that so much. But then again, it is Ubisoft, so...
Yeah. But, you know, like, as you guys also alluded to, this shows how foolish all this Twitter, PlayStation warriors are, as well as, you know, clickbait media outlets with the whole Xbox has no games. I mean, Sea of Thieves, come on. That's, again, we were just talking about how fun it is. 40 million players. That's a massive game. I mean, how many games can say they have you know, 40 million players lifetime?
I mean, considering too, it was from the Xbox One era, and like I like in a way, I'm kind of shocked that like it survived, but I know I'm happy. I'm happy that, you know, how it turned out. No, of course. And I remember too when it came out, and yeah, the PlayStation guys in particular were really ragging on it too, right? Because of the, you know, how cartoony it was and so on and so forth. But yet it sailed to popularity. And again, it was like the Twitch streamers, the YouTubers that were streaming it. And it just, like, it caught a lot of people's eyes. A lot of, like, I would say more casual people too, because they're like, oh, damn, I want to try this out, right? And, I mean... I'm not sure how much it actually sold, but I mean, in Game Pass alone, like, yeah, I mean, shit, it got downloaded a lot because people are like, oh, this is, you know, this is unique. This is something that, you know, I can actually have an adventure with. And again, like, you can co-op with your buddies. And it's like, oh, hey, guys, let's go on a silly adventure. Let's take out a few outposts, or, you know, oh, hey, I found a glass jar and there's like a message in there. Oh, and there's a quest in there. Let's check it out. You know, just stuff like that.
And I think it was the first game to launch on Game Pass, right? If I remember correctly. Because I was considering, I was gonna buy it, but then it was coming to Game Pass. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because you said what, 2018 it released?
No, well, I was talking about the. Let me see.
I can't remember.
I was in college, so it had to have been before 19.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it came out around my birthday, so it was either like late March or early April that Sea of Thieves came out.
March 20th, 2018.
There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was it was like a testing ground for first party for Game Pass, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. And you know, we also have Grounded. Don't forget about Grounded. It's doing pretty well as well for such a small game on PlayStation.
That's the last update for it, right? Like they're done with Grounded now?
I believe so. Yeah, that's what I heard, or that's what I read. What else can you add to the game? Or maybe once you mentioned they're working on a TV series or an anime, so maybe once that comes out,
it's getting some kind of Netflix show.
Yeah, so maybe when that comes out, they might add something new. But for now, it's probably.
You know, I'm surprised they never like did extended stuff with Sea of Thieves. To be honest with you, like a Sea of Thieves like TV, like, you know, like Netflix TV show or something. like like a cartoon show or something like that. I think that could actually be something, to be honest with you, if they're gonna test anything.
Here you go. You should pitch it to Netflix.
Hey, I'll pitch it to Phil right now. Hey, Phil,
Yeah.
send him a message. Hey, he listens sometimes.
Yeah, Xbox. Yeah, the Xbox peeps definitely listen. So here you go. Make
So on a scale of Fallout to Halo, how do we think the Minecraft movie is gonna be?
pretty bad.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think it'll be like a stupid comedy?
Who's behind it? Do you know?
I know Jason Momoa is Steve.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I believe Bryan Cranston is the Ender Dragon. Like, it has an all-star cast. I'm pretty sure Jack Black is now evidently in it too.
Okay.
Like, it's going to have the star power, but like, I don't think it's going to be good in a in the way that like Fallout and The Last of Us shows are good. But like, I'm wondering, like, is it going to be like, will the comedy carry it? You know what I mean? Like, will it be funny enough?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it has to be funny. I mean, yes, it has to be like a lighthearted adventure of sorts, of course, because it is Minecraft. But, just as long as the journey itself, whatever the story ends up being, like, that has to... Like, they have to have good writers, otherwise it's just going to be... Like, my hopes for it aren't, like, that great. But then you never know. You never know. Because, again, I had low expectations with Fallout, and it turned out to be decent.
The Minecraft movie's live action, too, by the way.
No, really?
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, it always has to be a comedy.
Oh, boy.
So
How are they going to pull that off,
I
then?
don't know.
I mean, it's gonna look like 3D characters.
No, I'm pretty sure it's live action. I've seen props for it.
Like, it
Really?
must be, like,
Yeah.
somehow they got into the world or something, but there's, like,
Could
a
it be
real
like
world
Jumanji?
crossover.
Could it be
like Jumanji or an Isekai or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, like, or even, like, a Pixels thing, like, it just, oh, that's...
Oh, don't break that. Oh, no, not Pixels.
I mean, look, they're also making a Sims movie as well. So it's like all these games being made into movies now because they know how much money they can make.
Well, yeah, if the shows and movies do good, they don't just make money as if they're a show or movie. They also cause like the games to be sold heavily.
Yeah.
It's true synergy, and like I'm Mr. Backwards compatibility, as everyone knows, and like that's where like having as much of your brand up just kind of like helps, right? Because like Fallout, like I said, 6-year-old game, minimum with 76.
Yeah.
Is it's doing numbers.
Yeah, like...
And, yeah. No, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, Grimes, like that's another interesting thing, too, like, a big part of this is, like, you look at, like, okay, like, Sea of Thieves is obviously, like, has a big surge, too, and I am very curious about the numbers, but again, Crusader brings up, like, Fallout 4, and especially 76, too, because, again, 76 was... Well,
76 was bad at launch. It was bad at, like, people can say that it's a good game now, and it was not a good game then. Like, I think that's totally fair.
I would say, it's favorable
Destiny
now.
Destiny 2 was awful at launch, but it is a okay game now.
But Fallout 4, though, I mean, like, if people are just discovering it now, I mean...
Yeah.
Like... I mean, I really liked Fallout 4 personally. I know some people have hang-ups on it, but I thought it was pretty good. So
I thought its like main story was terrible, but I really enjoyed the gunplay and side stories in it.
The characters there. I mean, like that. Without spoilers, that detective you meet some.
Oh
yeah,
Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In like the city, yeah, he's like a detective in one of the cities. I forgot.
Yeah.
He's in Diamond City.
Yeah.
The characters and stuff were great in that. Like, I loved all of the. As far as Bethesda games go, I actually think 4 had some of the best companions. With was it Piper and Valentine and
Dog
But
meat.
So
Yeah.
I still personally think 76 is the best, or not 76. New Vegas is the best one.
For me
But
personally,
like,
it's
I'm not
the-
a like New Vegas like fanatic. I'm not one of those people.
Well,
For me, I
New Vegas is in one of those spots where I don't think Bethesda expected it to do as well as what it did, and I think it's actually hard for them to bring up New Vegas personally because Obsidian did such a good job with it. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
it's like, Bethesda, where do you rank this game that you oversaw, but you did not create yourselves? So, it's New Vegas will, I mean, I think it will always be ranked up there, but again, it's a separate entity in its own.
See, I would like Fallout 3 more if Fallout 3 actually had an ADS system. I don't like. I'm actually not a fan of VATS in the Fallout games. I really don't find it to be very fun. And
Really?
Fallout 3 is mostly built around VATS. So I'm not a huge fan of 3. But like I like 3's story more than New Vegas
yeah,
by a
exactly.
lot.
That's what I was saying. Like the story from 3 to me, it's the best in
Which
the series. Fallout 3 has the best
Yeah.
story in my opinion.
I wouldn't be shocked because we know from the court documents. Like this isn't like your average leak. We know from the court document leak from last year that a Fallout 3 remaster and a Oblivion remaster were both in development with an external partner, which is almost certainly Virtua Studios. Do we think that could get announced this year to build off of the hype, even if it's not coming this year?
Well, again, we know something is getting remastered. Like,
Well, no. So specifically, Fallout 3 and Oblivion were both
Yeah.
listed. Like,
Yeah, that's right,
like,
yeah.
name drops. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So,
So like, this year, announced.
it's possible you could have both announced and then one gets released. Again, I'm
this
just
year. And
I'm just
next year,
making up
yeah.
stuff. Like, it could be one later this year and
Yeah.
then one halfway through or later on into the next, or maybe both release next year but one comes out at the beginning and then and so on and so forth, right? So
Like that would be super. Like, I think that would be a good way to build off of the Fallout stuff, even if you're gonna release it this year and it's coming next year. Like, kind of, flow with it, right?
mhm.
And I'm really happy they announced the season 2 is already in development for.
So you've watched the show, right?
I have watched bits and pieces of it. I have not gotten to, because of like the situation with my
Yeah.
family. I did not get to sit down and watch it when I wanted to, and then Destiny consumed me. I am going to sit down and watch it at some point very soon. But I know the basic. I know basically what happens. I know I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of the funny bits because I knew I wasn't going to survive the
It's-
spoilers. So
It's like, honestly, overall I think it's fine. Like again, I've played a couple of the Fallout games and I won't call myself a hardcore guy with it, obviously. I think it's fine. There's some stuff where I'm like, but I think they do try to respect everything within the universe.
yeah.
And that, like, and overall, besides some quarrels I have been enjoying it. That's the thing with each episode. So I think that they have something, like, if they can do the same thing, the same magic that they have into season 2, like, they have something special on their hands that I hope they continue with. And again, they're respecting, like, the actual, like the writers actually seem to understand and respect, and even the actors too, like, respect the series and the name of it, which is a lot more than I can say with some other ones.
And like we discussed off air, the actress playing Lucy, she
Yeah.
actually plays Fallout 4. So
yeah,
I
and
did some research.
I know Aaron Paul wants to be in the next season.
Oh,
He
really?
just said, yeah, because Aaron Paul loves Fallout, and he wants to be in the. He said publicly that he wants to be in the next season,
Oh, he'll.
and I'm like, yeah, okay.
I would
Why?
love to see that. Yeah, he's a good. Yeah, he's
Sure.
a good.
He was an Xbox spokesperson for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, like
There's some
we used to
old-
do commercials or
Yeah, there were some
ads.
old commercials that he did for in the Xbox One era, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't even remember, to be honest. That's cool. I'd have to look them up, but yeah.
That would be awesome to see. Yeah.
Well, again, and I'll be curious to see how much weight Microsoft and Xbox throw behind the TV show now, especially since they know that it is successful and it's helping to drive more engagement with the games, like especially the older games, for crying out loud. So
Apparently, Bethesda was involved with the with the process of a show early on. So
Todd Howard was an executive producer, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
yeah,
so they were hands-on with the show. So I would expect season 2 to be more of the same, but we'll see.
343 was hands-on with the Halo show too.
well, that's what I was gonna say too, and then like,
Terrifying.
oh, what the hell, like,
Makes me so mad.
Yeah. But it's like, again, that show was made for the average viewer, not
Yeah.
for us.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, Fallout is exploding, and I have people who, like, don't play video games being like, this is one of those games that you play. And I'm like, yes.
But you see, that's what, okay, but this is what I have an issue with, is that how okay, they say it's not made for like the fans, like, okay, Halo TV show, and it's made for other audiences, but it's like, well, the other audiences though wouldn't know the difference anyways, because they're just coming into the
Yeah.
show regardless. So whatever you put in front of them is what you have. So they wouldn't know any different.
The Last of Us, Castlevania, and Fallout are like the golden standard, in my opinion, for how to freaking adapt video game content. They're all really good. People who are fans of the franchises mostly like them. I know that I have a friend of Castlevania who he really liked the show. He didn't like some of the stuff in the final season of the original series, but he's like, they did an excellent job adapting. It's like, I can't be like mad. Like it's good. He was like, I disagree with some of the decisions they made, but like Castlevania's lore is so convoluted and like all over the place that it doesn't even really matter.
Right. But at the same, again, like,
Halo's lore is concise and like explicit.
Well,
You know,
again, to this, not to interrupt Grimes, it's just
No.
like at the same time though, it's like I didn't understand why they had to do a separate timeline when there is so much you can tell, like with the universe. There's so much that you could tell that people really want to be shown like on the screen, and they went the way that they did. Like, it just, unless you really want to screw with the universe, or you
they
just
should have
didn't
just
care.
adapted Halo the Flood, the book, which is Halo 1, but the book, and like has way more detail.
Honestly,
and they should have just adapted that.
Either that, or like I wouldn't mind to Contact Harvest, to be honest with you, or something like that, or whatever. Like, I know what you're saying. It just,
Or adapt First Strike.
yeah.
The book that takes place in between CE and 2. Because then you have lots of different characters that you can do stuff with. Just, ugh.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but it's different studios are making it. I just don't expect Paramount to make quality.
Well, what's wild is actually Paramount also has one of the best like video game adaptations, and this is the Sonic stuff.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
can't believe the Sonic stuff is good. Like, does everyone remember the first trailer for the Sonic movie that had the
Yeah.
horrific looking Sonic?
But they listened. They listened. I could not believe it.
Oh.
But they listened to it, like, because they knew it was gonna freaking tank, and they, like, the director listened.
Did you guys see who's Shadow?
Yes.
They confirmed it.
Yes.
That Keanu Reeves is gonna be Shadow the Hedgehog.
I can't, but like, oh man, there's gonna be
Idris Elba's Knuckles. Did you guys see the trailer for the Knuckles TV show?
No, I have not.
the villain in it, the main villain in it, is the Hound from not God of War, Game of Thrones.
I'm not sure who that is, to be honest.
Okay.
But,
yeah, it looks hilarious. Like they so they're not adapting storylines there, and I get that, and maybe that they took the same logic and wanted to try to apply that logic to Halo, but like Sonic also has like, again, an exceptionally convoluted and like odd storyline. So like adapting it is not, as feasible.
But the Pokemon movie was also pretty decent, and that had nothing to do with the actual video game.
Well, you even look at Detective Pikachu. Like,
yeah.
Like, that was all right, and they're making a second one. Like, it's... Nod Buggy in the chat. Did they listen, or did they make the first Sonic ugly on purpose? Ooh.
I have seen that conspiracy, and my roommate is a believer of that conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know that they would risk that kind of strange because that would be the highest risk, highest reward marketing campaign I've ever heard of.
You'd be taking
yeah. Do you know how much money it would
take to redo it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oof. Yeah. Well, you see, the thing was, it wasn't just that. It was like, I remember the first trailer too. It's like they had Gangster's Paradise, and like, a lot of people weren't really like jiving with it. I don't know if it was like a generational thing. Like, I mean, I was fine with it, but like, a lot of people weren't connecting with the trailer. It was just like, oh, and then you got the ugly Sonic. So
the ugly Sonic. I love the ugly Sonic so much.
Yeah, like especially where he goes meow.
Yeah, I love that so much.
And thank God they changed it.
To be fair, that would have been and like there are worse video game adaptations than Halo. Like I rag on the Halo adaptation. The Resident Evil show on Netflix was awful. The only redeeming quality was Lance Reddick, and you can legitimately just watch all of the scenes that he has in the show and just watch them on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
but
that was the only redeeming quality to that show.
But even when I see that, it's like, oh, like really,
really, that was just bad.
Like even
at least Halo's an entertaining sci-fi show, like that you can just detach Halo from. But like, man, was the Resident Evil show bad.
Okay, Dots had to jump. So let's see here, guys. Maybe we'll close out things, making an earlier show. And guys, any other comments about again the Xbox titles like coming to like seemingly doing well on PlayStation, kind of dominating the store right now in pre-orders, or any more Sea of Thieves comments?
We can all agree that we're gonna see more Xbox games hitting PlayStation, and like I've mentioned before, I'm completely fine as long as it's not Gears of War and a Halo. But
I don't think they could do Forza either and get away with it, to be 100% with you.
There's
Forza. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Just like it depends. It's really hard to say right now because maybe a lot of like there's a few like games like Halo, Gears of War, like Forza, as you guys said. But I'm very, very curious what they consider with the single player RPG titles and whatnot, like an Avowed and so on.
I think you can see Ori come to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because I know Moon Studios kind of wants it to.
Yeah.
And they said they would if they were asked to. So like I could see Ori going. I can see a lot of the second party studio, I hate the term second party. So the external studios games. Like I could see Quantum Break going.
I could see Recore personally.
Yeah.
I could see Quantum Break going specifically because that game cost a boatload of money to make and probably almost certainly didn't make it back. So like I could see I could see a thing with like Remedy where like they kind of are like they'll allow Remedy to like use the characters and stuff because they can't right now. And so like I could see some shit with that, and like I could see the good old Rise Son of Rome Game that I don't know how I feel about. I have played and I don't know how I feel about it.
It's you know what?
It's a game. It is a game of all time.
It's a game that got caught between like I'm happy they decided to go the route with, you know, like not being focused on Connect. But yes, I mean
it is so historically inaccurate. So immensely historically inaccurate.
I agree with you.
Not like minor things, like major historical inaccuracies.
I know. We could talk about Nero, we could talk about Boudica, we can talk about a lot of things, but
like,
then
I was baffled playing it. I'm like, man, this game's kind of fun to play. Like, I really jam with this gameplay. Man, is this story really pissing me off?
But then
because it's like Braveheart on steroids.
But then they're also going into like the more fantastical stuff with, like, you know, the gods interfering in some ways and taking an interest. So it was just, I was curious if they ever made a second one, where would they take it, right?
Right.
So
I could see, like, because I'm gonna be real. What are they called? Crytek?
yes.
Yeah, Crytek is in a little bit of a financial hurt right now. So I could see like an investment be like, okay, put this game on PlayStation. We'll fund it, get it there. You'll get some funding. We get the release here. Maybe we can get a next gen. Because like again, if they recontract a lot of these second party studios to do the ports to the next gen systems, they can also get a port on Xbox too. Right, like this would be something where we would also benefit, right? And that's something that I see them edging themselves into a little bit, because they are. We have reports that from Jez Corden that Matt Booty addressed the fact that this has stressed the brand significantly. This move has stressed the Xbox brand significantly. So I could see them wanting to move it into at least for now, for the next like year or two, so they can again get people to adjust to the concept of it. Doing like second party games where they could get the re-releases on Xbox Series X and S, and we would also benefit from the port. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I could see a lot of Xbox One games, if they're gonna port them to the other systems, it would start to be games where like even Xbox players would see the benefit. And I think that was a major mistake to start, right? Is that we didn't like their core customer base, which has been sold the console on the basis of exclusive titles for the hardware for the last 40 years in the industry. They didn't really make it seem like they were putting us first, and you can do that with a lot of Xbox One and even 360 games. Like I could see like Viva Pinata just coming back and being put on multiple things, right? And just like,
yes.
Here, Xbox players, we're putting Viva Pinata everywhere because it's not that big of an IP, right? And it's not that massive of a thing. We're going to put it on PlayStation, but we're also going to give you guys a version of it too, right? Like, and I could see them moving more into that kind of sphere in order to
rare replay. They should just
well, an update Rare Replay if they can.
Rare Replay is a little, I
There's
wouldn't say complicated. Yeah, Rare Replay is a special beast on its own, but yes.
It's not even on PC. Like that needs a PC release, but I don't think it ever will.
But you're right. Yes. But all right, guys. I think on that note we'll start to just kind of end things off for tonight's show. Sure. But again, I thought we had a pretty fun chat tonight regarding Xbox titles kind of shining on the PlayStation Store, especially with the pre-orders. Sea of Thieves pulling in some impressive numbers. Some Harold Halibut talk, along with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Yeah, we touched on a few things. And to all of you that joined us tonight, thank you for stopping by. If you enjoyed the show, then please consider dropping a like, subbing over to the channel, of course, sharing this out across various social media networks. Next, on to some of the outros. Again, Dots had to leave early, but Crusader, hey, great seeing you this week, bud. Where can everybody follow you?
You can follow me at Crusader3456 on almost all social media platforms. I'm most active on Twitter. It was a great show, and you can follow Dots at DotsRTS on Twitter as well.
Yeah, and I have his details down below. You can tell him that, by the way, because he liked reminding me about that. I had a little bit of an error there, but it's there down in the description. Grimes, hey, buddy. Great chat tonight from you as well. Where can all these wonderful people follow you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at FakeMayhemOG, and hopefully by next week, if I'm done with Diablo 4, and I'll start playing Harold Halibut. So I'll mention my thoughts next week.
Yeah, sounds good. I look forward to them, but I'll probably be playing more, spending more time with it as well during the week. And yeah, of course, I'm Invader. You guys can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Again, got some guides, got some reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff, unboxings, and so on and so forth. Come check me out. But with all that said, another good one, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Who knows what the next week will hold for news, reveals, and all that jazz. Later, guys.